welcome back to another episode of Time Wasters. I am Brendan Throw, otherwise known as Sneegsnag on the internet. This is episode 4, and I have a good friend of mine with me today. Some of you may know him as Philza Minecraft.
Hi, mate.
Not to shorten the scope of your gaming prowess, but certainly you're certainly known for your Minecraft. I love the other day. The other day when we played Splitgate, I was watching your chat just like freak out how good you were, and I was like, I've literally watched Phil, like, I mean, you're like a competitive Halo player. Yeah, and then also like when we first met at TwitchCon in 2019, you told us about how like the Rocket League place like made you leave because you were destroying too many people. I don't know.
Yeah, also I was complaining about the car they were trying to make me use because it was like a Prime event, right? So it was like Twitch Prime X Rocket League, and they had this car that was trash, and they were forcing people to play on it, and I was like, ugh. So every time I like switched to the Octane, they got pissed. Like, excuse me, can you switch to the Prime cars? Like, but it sucks.
That was funny. I remember you telling me that, and I was like, there's no way like you're like this good at the game. And then we went back there, so I hadn't gone with you, and they were like trying to get you to leave, and you started playing again, and I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I was just schooling them. It was funny because like it was like smurfing, dude. They were just like, there was like one other person that was decent, and me and him were just going for ceiling shots and flip reset. And like everyone else was just like, how do I turn?
A great example I have is I don't know if I doubt you're gonna know who this is, but I went to the same high school as Jason Tatum. He plays for the Celtics, like a professional NBA team now.
Yeah, he was no idea.
Yeah. It's a professional American basketball team.
Sports.
He's very good at the game. But I watched him because he was a year below me, so I came back to watch them play for the state championship. And just like watching him on the court that day, it was like watching a dude like not even trying, but being way better than everybody because they're just not on the same level. It was so fascinating.
Did he look bored?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely bored.
Like he was like doing a light jog and then just kind of went, oh yes, whatever, this is all right.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm having fun, I guess.
Whatever. So I already kind of alluded to the fact that I mean, like TwitchCon 2019 was when we met each other. So I don't feel like a lot of people know that we're friends. I feel like I'm kind of, in comparison to everybody else we know, a little uninvolved with the Minecraft scene.
Yeah, you're not as heavy in the Minecraft anymore.
Not as interested. But I know all of you because
you're not on the Dream SMP, which is like a huge thing that people just connect the dots.
Yeah, nor do I really feel like I want to at this point. It's not really something I'm interested in. Minecraft is just like, I think the game has had a lot of history with me, and I've done a lot with it, and it's done a lot for me, but it's just kind of, I feel like it's run its course a little bit.
That's fair.
But anyway, so yeah, we met at TwitchCon, mainly because of Wilbur.
Yeah.
And I knew Wilbur because of SMP Live. And I distinctly remember Will asking me if you could come hang out at our Airbnb. But he didn't say, he was just like, can Phil come? And I was like, who's Phil? So, and he was like, Phil's a Minecraft. And I was like, oh, okay, sure, why not?
That guy
but I also
died once in a 5-year world.
But like, I remember you showed up, and this was the day after like all the partners got to like grab all their merch the day of the convention, or it was the same day or whatever. So I had like purple everything on, like everything was purple.
I remember that being the funniest part of like meeting someone, because I'd met like a bunch of people already in like creators that like obviously I'd met like Fit, and like and Venom, I guess, and you know like Schlatt. Oh, let me silence my phone, huh?
No problem.
I met all these people, and I was just like, oh yeah, yeah, they're pretty much like just like how I met them online. Like they're cool. They're just, it's just better to talk to them IRL than over Discord or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then I met you, and I was just like, ah yes, the merch man.
The merch man.
he is now known as Merch Boy. Man's just wearing all of the Twitch merch.
Literally all purple.
Time.
It was comfy too.
You were just wearing like this giant purple hoodie.
Yeah,
well, it was a jumper. It was a jumper in like San Francisco heat.
Yeah, it was great.
Just chilling, just like
I was like
and then the glasses as well. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I was like semi-drunk at that point too, because you came to literally, we got drunk and ate pizza and shit. So, and then you and Will poured beer over the balcony into my mouth, which was interesting. Most of it did not get into my mouth, but
why did we do that again?
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I think you guys were up there just hanging out, talking about stuff, and I went downstairs to get something, and then I'm pretty sure it was Will's idea, which doesn't surprise me. But yeah, that's how we met.
The highlight of the TwitchCon parties. Getting beer poured into your mouth from a balcony by Philza and Minecraft.
Yeah, not many people can say that. I think I might be the only person who can say that. It's pretty interesting. Yeah.
I think so.
That's my weird flex for the. That's gonna be like one of my 2 truths and a lie. It's gonna be one of my truths.
We're just not gonna believe it. It's like, how is that? That didn't happen.
I feel like it's too obscure for people to be like, that's definitely the lie. I feel like that's like, I don't know, maybe that's an easy one.
Well, they're all gonna know now.
That's a good point. It was fun though. It was a good time.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was like my first major like event that people knew who I was.
Me too, but clearly not in the same amount, because like you had your 5-year blow up, and I had the one minuscule Minecraft server in comparison to today's numbers. But
I feel like SMP Live back then was pretty fucking huge.
It was the talk of the town, bare minimum, and people showed up to see people from the server. Not maybe not me specifically, but people knew who I was because I was on the server, and there's a lot of people coming to see people from the server. So like, I definitely had a lot of time in the sun during that convention, and it was really, really cool. I think that was like probably still one of the most validating things that I had done as a creator. And I just started, like literally like 2 weeks prior, I committed to being full-time, and like going there and seeing all these people excited to see me was like so fucking cool.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. You made the right decision, man.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, it was either that or using the piece of paper I spent 4 years getting. So now I just watch true crime videos on stream, and that's how I use it.
Just point and laugh, and then also give actual commentary that makes sense and is factual.
Yeah, I love when I post it on YouTube now, and I get a lot of dissenters in the comments trying to like pick apart my analysis, and I'm like, what is happening? Like, what is happening right now? I'm like, I'm not even trying to like disagree with the JCS videos. I'm just like adding extra details for context, and people are like, well, I don't think this is true because I was interrogated a single time and it was a great experience, blah blah blah. And I'm like, what are you trying to do right now? It's very weird. Very weird.
I feel like most people and in YouTube comments on like when they comment something like that, they are just like looking to just start
to argue. Like, yeah, they just want to be mad.
They just want to start shit and get like someone respond to them and like have a little fight, you know.
My favorite one so far, because I've only posted like maybe 5, I think, but there was a time during one of them where there was a female and a male detective, and they were both like tugging at the heartstrings of this guy who killed some girl, and they caught him on footage. They see this person enter a car and not exit, right?
Yeah.
And so they're, grilling this dude, being emotional, whatever. And some guy in the middle of the stream chat is just like, this woman's being too emotional. And I like lay it into him for like 5 minutes. I was like, just say you hate women and move on. Because like the guy was using the same tactics, everything, like doing everything the exact same way. And he was just like, this woman, oh. And I like freaked out on him. which I think is somewhat justifiable because that's so hypocritical.
Oh, yeah.
But
yeah, totally.
And then I posted on YouTube, and I get all these people that are like, "Fuck yeah, Sneeg! Like that was so cool of you to do that." And then like complete opposite, where they're like, "I think that was kind of unnecessary because I don't think he was implying much by saying she was being emotional, blah blah blah." And I'm just like, dude, YouTube is a magical place. And
it's wild. It's just like a cesspool.
There's a reason
like
I stream
and terrible.
There's a reason I mostly stream, which you do as well, because I think both of us come from a more rare setting where both of us kind of blew up through our stream first. I think we talked about this before as well, because like you kind of blew up because your streams, because you invested 5 years into your world and died, and that got big news, which, you know, I didn't do anything close to comparison, but like, you know, my server I was on was popular through streams, so people came to my streams to watch the server, and I posted those to YouTube, which got me some YouTube like influence, but it was mostly to my streams, and it still is. I feel like a lot of people have like subsidiary clout that they push to streaming on Twitch with, and I feel like we're like literally the opposite side of the coin. I don't know how much it is for you now, but I feel like I'm still like using my stream to push content elsewhere rather than the opposite, which is what most people do.
Yeah. I mean, I had a long talk with Tommy about this, because he's like, he knows a lot about YouTube and
he's
stuff.
A prime example of a YouTuber that has pushed all of his content to his Twitch streams.
Yeah, like, so he knew that like Twitch doesn't have like a lot of discoverability and stuff. And,
terrible
like,
algorithm.
Yeah. After speaking with like a bunch of other people, like he spoke to Dream, Mr. Beast, like a bunch of other big YouTubers, and talked to them about it. Like he kind of like made the conclusion that, oh yeah, it's YouTube is like the best in terms of discoverability and
the cream
growth,
of the crop for sure.
And then you use that to push growth elsewhere. So you just kind of like spread your like coverage, I guess, to other platforms. And he still does it. He still does
common
it
strategy
as well. Just like talks about how like this was streamed live or whatever. Every time he does like a highlight video of a stream, he'll say on YouTube this was streamed live when he makes the video of it.
I think
just to push more people to his like stream. It's like a perpetual motion pretty much. It's like
smart. I mean, it's literally, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like people, YouTube is so general and popular in comparison, even though Twitch is super normalized, like it's still like YouTube in numbers is so much more out there. Like
and I also think like it's a big thing to do with live content. Not everyone has the time to watch like a 2 or 3 hour stream.
But they have like
time
20 minutes to kill, and Tommy's on their recommended, and boom, there you go.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Like it's different sides of the internet and different kind of like types of content that people consume. You know, like I'm the type of person that'll tune into a stream and just have it on the background.
Me too.
And it could be a stream that lasts like 4 hours, 12 hours. It doesn't matter. And then YouTube is mostly Twitch highlights that I watch.
Yep.
So it's still Twitch in a sense, but just in a different like on-demand service, instead of just like, oh, let me just tune into this stream. Okay, what was happening? All right, I'm caught up. You know.
Yeah.
They both have like really powerful kind of influence, I think.
I feel like I need to put more of an effort into it, because I mean, like my videos, I have like the Twitch link pop up at the beginning, but I feel like people are like shocked to find out I stream all of it live, and I'm like, but it says it at the beginning. Like I feel like I actually, like, now that I'm thinking about it, I definitely should like go on the camera and just be like, blah blah blah, I recorded this live, come hang out. Because I saw a comment the other day that was like, oh, I hope you did all of these JCS videos, I hope you post them all and stream them all. And I was like, I already did stream them all.
Yeah, so they'll just catch like a random video from his playlist, like, oh, this is episode 6, but they don't read it. They just click it because they saw thumbnail with person.
Well, yeah, it's also not episodically labeled. I mean, the playlist is episodic, but YouTube doesn't really like when you numerically lay out stuff. It's easy to it's much easier for people to click on it if it's like not part 38, because then they'll be like, well, I can't watch this part, I have to go to the beginning, and then if I don't like the beginning, I won't watch 38, you know.
That's true. That's why I started to like rethink the hardcore series that I do. It's like
unless you want that sort of thing. Like I like big invested series like that, but most people on YouTube want like those quick snappy videos, and then they don't realize they're even watching a series because it was so masked in a way to make you want to watch it more.
They don't want to feel people don't want to feel left out, and I feel like that's just like sort of an inherent sort of like behavioral trait of just humans.
That's why you got update accounts on Twitter and all sorts of stuff. Because people want to be aware of everything, which is an understandable thing.
Yeah, constantly updated, constantly like with their ear to the ground, constantly knowing everything that's going on in everyone's streams and videos.
Yeah.
Otherwise you feel left out. You don't feel like you're part of like the group, or like, you know, like you're not part of the experience in a sense. So I totally get that. I totally get it.
I think something I learned when I was in college, because I guess I don't flex this as much because it's really not that important, but I have my bachelor's in criminal justice, but I do have a minor in psychology as well. So I took like, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 psychology classes on top of the rest of my CJ stuff. Maybe I'm over exaggerating how much, but still, every psychology class, like the big factor is like human nature, like two things, easily predictable. Humans want to be accepted and they want to be correct. And like being knowledgeable about current events in like the popular group you're involved in is like a huge way of being accepted. So like, and I don't know, because I feel like content creation has changed and it's more of like, how much do you like this person, rather than being like, this person makes me laugh, so I watch them sometimes. People are like very into specific people instead of like tons of people and seeing as much as they can. They're like, well, I like this guy, but I love his friend and I watch his other friends sometimes. But I follow him. I have notifications on for him. I follow the update account for him in case I miss anything. I have his VOD channel subscribed to. Like, I feel like it's not like an unhealthy thing, but I feel like in comparison to what we had when we were like, 16, I feel like
back in my day.
Yeah, back in my day. Well, we had like Let's Plays and stuff, and it was like, how much can you watch? Who do you watch? It wasn't like, who specifically do you like? Because like I would watch Game Grumps, which I still do commonly, but like I watch like the Creatures and like all that big group of people too, and it was like, it's way more like specific because I think there's way more creators as well. But especially because like big groups like the Dream SMP, that's a hot topic in a large audience, and it's an easy connecting piece for people. So how much do you know about the people around the Dream SMP? And then like people can go on and on, is because they know all of it, because they follow up with all of it, because whether they watch the streams or not, they have all the update accounts letting them know about things.
Yeah, it's which like this big buffet of content that they can just pick from, and like some people go hard and have like the entire fucking buffet on one plate, and other people just pick like one
things
part.
They like.
Just want the desserts. Yeah,
and I feel like
they just want the meat section or the desserts. So like the starters.
I feel like I've used update accounts as the butt of a joke a few times, and I don't mean to like. I mean, like, everybody's worthy of a funny joke against them, but like at the same time, like I'm not trying to knock them at all. Like I think I think it's cool that people are able to have so many people aware of someone's content, that they can have like constant updates for that person, and then all these people can gather this information due to their efforts and then use that to relate to each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like community.
It's just like human nature. I mean, like, that's what college is. College is like, well, I'm stuck in the same area with all these people, and we all go to the same place. And these people I also study the same thing with can relate to the same things I'm interested in doing. It's it's just people being people. I don't know. I think people are too. I like to make fun of them sometimes, but I don't dislike update accounts. I think it's an interesting thing. I think it's fun for people to be able to connect that way. But
yeah, as long as they're not like breaking anyone's boundaries,
absolutely,
and, like being super weird, then whatever. People enjoy content and enjoy their creators in different ways. Just let them vibe. Like, not hurting anybody. Just let them vibe.
Content is 100% gotten way more personal than when when we were younger. Not in a bad way either, though, because like we want that human connection, whether people think so or not. Like that, being able to see the humanity in each other is like such a bonding piece, whether it's through like a parasocial relationship or not. Like being able to humanize with the person you watch so much is like, I mean, that like makes or breaks like whether you're a huge fan of them, you know. But speaking of content, I mean, you are Philza Minecraft. So I have
that be what I'm known as sometimes. Yeah.
And I have a great question, just because I thought about it while I was, walking around my neighborhood. But so you are known for many things, but one of the things that you were mostly known for was the fact that you died in your 5-year world, right? And I feel like I'm a little bit luckier than some people because I ended up blowing up within a year of me streaming, right? Due to the opportunities I was given through prior connections, right?
Yeah.
But some people are years into their streaming and haven't seen a lot of traction. And I wanted to ask you, like, what was that like for 5 years? Because like it wasn't like you weren't known. Like you had a fan base, but in comparison to what happened after you died, and even now, like, how did it feel to have the little bit you had, and what made you keep streaming for the 5 years that you did with that world specifically?
I think I only started streaming it like maybe 3 years in. I forget now. Because my internet was trash. Like it was so bad. I would end up like just recording footage with fraps, and right, I would
Oh,
literally
man.
record the footage
What a
with
name
fraps
drop.
and just put it up and like edit it, and then like later in the series, it would all be on YouTube, and then later in the series when I started to get towards like end game, I would start to like record sections of me talking about what I'm gonna do, and then just work on it for like hours and hours and hours and hours and hours, recording little pieces of like progress footage along the way. I would just like have fraps open, just like hit the button, record for 5 seconds, stop. And that was just, I don't know, it was a lot of fun. It's the only thing really keeping me going was that I was having so much fun doing it. And like, yeah, I had like 5 or 10 people watching my shit, like I had people, I had like maybe a couple of hundred subscribers on YouTube, and a lot of the people that were watching me were from the Halo community I used to be a part of when I played like competitive Halo and stuff. So they were mainly friends I'd made like years in the past, and they were just kind of hanging around, just like, oh, look at this, Phil's just giving Minecraft a crack. Look at this, he took our suggestion of playing hardcore because he thought it would be a cool challenge. That's what kind of started me like playing hardcore in the first place. I'd done Minecraft for a while. I'd been playing it a lot with friends. I even had like a server that I set up. I would do like all sorts of different like bits of content and stuff. And then I just said, hardcore mode seems like a challenge. Should I give it a go? And then everyone that I knew said yeah. So I started doing it. So they're like part of the reason essentially why I committed to doing it. But
rest of it's kind of history, man.
Yeah. The main reason I kept going was just because it was so fun.
You enjoyed it. I think so as well.
I loved creating things and just like showing the progress. Like it was really fun to make that sort of video of like, here's what I'm gonna do, and I'm doing it. Here's some music, and this is it done, or this is it kind of done. I just loved the progress of like just world building in a sense.
I cannot relate. I don't know. I vanilla Minecraft just gets super. I feel like I drag my feet so hard when I play it. It's just I don't have as much creative inspiration when it comes to that game, and I don't know why, but it's just is what it is.
I like the simplicity. Like I don't get me wrong. I've fucked around with the Minecraft like mod scene a bunch. Like I went through tons of different mods.
I love
my favorite
modded.
was probably what's it called? It's I'm right.
Is it like an old mod pack or?
I played it with Schlatt.
Oh, it was Hexit, right?
Hexit,
a great one. I
love
remember
Hexit.
I loved Feed the Beast. I loved Hexit. I loved Attack of the B Team. Oh, dude, I was into all of them. They're so good.
I mainly would do, because I had a series called Modtacular series, which was me just literally seeing how much I could break the game with adding as many mods as I could. Like just anything I liked. I would be like, oh, I really like this mod. Let's add it.
That's
I like
some
this
Skyrim
mod too.
energy.
Let's add it, and I would just go through, and then eventually it just got to the point where I was like, kind of burnt out on mods. I think I want to go back to vanilla for a bit.
And stayed a while.
Yeah, it's fun. It's like mods in Minecraft are fun, but like there's only so much fun you can get out of it, because I feel like they're very oversaturated, and you can get kind of bogged down with a lot of extra shit.
Some of them can feel kind of similar too. I feel like people like to add mods from mod packs that they love when they're making their own, but then I feel like they don't realize they're basically making the same one, but like not including like 4 things from the previous mod pack,
Yeah, it gets a bit much. And like I realized that I kind of was sort of blocking my creativity by just having all of this like sensory overload of like, oh, I can do this mod, I can do this.
Too much going on.
Yeah, and like you take all that away and you just go back to vanilla, and it's just like, okay,
there's
it's interesting,
I don't remember the exact phrasing. I think it's sometimes people refer to it as the Netflix dilemma now, but it's the idea that like you have too many options that you don't know what to choose, because like people just people just sit there and scroll through Netflix shows and they don't know what to pick. But like humans are really good at making their preferences based on their choices, which sounds very opposite. But like once you choose something, you commit to that thing most likely, or you find reasons to commit to that thing and you invest heavily, and then you're cool with it. But it's hard to make that initial choice. But once it's made, you're like, fuck yeah, this is my thing, You'll see it a lot with colleges, because like, a lot of Americans have really hard times choosing where they want to go unless they've had something set from, maybe like familial, like their families are alums or stuff like that. But I don't know how much you get people asking about college stuff, but like, I guess because I went to a college and graduated in the United States, I get a lot of American viewers like asking me what I think. And I'm like, honestly, college is really the energy you put into it. And I'm like, I could have chosen many places. I chose the place I went to because my grandpa was a big fan. My sister was already there, and they offered me more money than the other places I applied to. But I loved that I went, and I met some of my permanent friends who, backtracking to the previous conversation about starting out, were some of the few people who watched my streams when I began. And they were a huge supporter. And one of them was even the reason I started streaming, because he was like, every time you commit to making more YouTube videos, because we had, he's one of my best friends. We'd been friends for 3-4 years by the time I started streaming stuff again. And he was like, every time it hits the summer, you start uploading again because you're bored, but then school happens and you're like, I'm busy, I can't do it. And he was like, you're not fucking busy. He's like, quit being a loser and bailing out because you need to prioritize your time. And he was like, you have the time. I know you have the time because we were idiots who played League of Legends together all the time at that point. So we would invest hours with each other playing League. And he was like, you have the time. I'm with you when you have the time. And I was like, fuck you, stop being correct. So I committed to it, but like, he had my back. He watched my streams, or at least had them open to support me. And so did some of my other best friends at the time, and who are still my best friends, who still show up. But like, having that little bit of a support net so early happened only because I chose the college I chose, and I made the best of it and found people that I had commonalities with. But like, wouldn't have known that before I chose there. So going back to preference over choices, I mean, I wouldn't have a single clue when I was 18 choosing a college that like the place I went to was going to have me meet friends who are permanently people who have meant so much to me, and also were a huge motivating factor in my literal dream job.
Mm-hmm.
Like you literally can't conceptualize that, but like I feel like in a way my choice helped me form my preferences and make the best of my choice. So it's really hard.
Branched off in the right way.
Yeah. It's really hard for somebody to commit to a choice when there's way too many options. So it sucks, especially for American colleges, because all of them are like, here's all this money, here's all the fun things we do. So it's hard to pick because it's like everything seems amazing and the same at the same time. And it's like, for anybody, I guess, who's struggling with college, but I guess this is going to upload as people are going. Like they're already at college now. I'm getting a lot of people saying they're moving into dorms and stuff. So I guess this kind of loses the point. But maybe there's people who are feeling like they might not have made the right decision and or questioning their decision or still a little unsure about it. But like seriously, college is so much about how much energy you put into it. And you'll find out you'll love it way more the more people you meet and the more things you do during it. And then 4 years will fly by and you'll be like me where you drive past your old campus and you're like, holy shit, like how did I spend 4 years here? It feels like it happened and it's gone, you know?
Yeah.
That's my college rant, whatever. back to like creation though. Like, yeah, I can totally get it though. Cause you know, people, I have a friend, one of my close friends that I referenced, he's heavy into Skyrim and mods the ever loving shit out of the game. But then he'll play it so much and he'll have so much to do. He's like, well, I just play it for a month and then I like fizzle out because I'm like, there's too much to do and I don't know what to do. So yeah, I guess that's
like too much choice can just be like
it's paralyzing.
Like, yeah, it's the worst for creativity sometimes.
Sometimes the obvious one or, you know, just making a choice is the best thing to do because just being able to commit to that is important for mental stability sometimes. Because I feel like when my friend told me that about my content, I could have been like, well, shit, you're right. Maybe I'll just start posting to YouTube more frequently and try harder with that. But then like in my head, I was like, you know, I've never really tried streaming. So maybe I'll give that a chance. And I hard committed to streaming more than YouTube, etc. But, you know, I made the choice and I have, I guess, oriented my preferences around the choice I made to the point where I've been doing the choice I made for 2 years full time. So I guess it worked out. But sometimes people sometimes if you're overwhelmed with choices, you just need to make a decision and make the best of it. Especially if you're unsure, you might just end up liking it because it might just be something you didn't know you needed.
True.
Can't believe you name dropped Fraps, dude. That took me back.
All right, Jesus.
I remember being able,
like, with the stupid little yellow like frame rate number in the top right.
Yeah, and it would go red.
Record and it goes red.
Oh, Jesus. Dude. I remember because I had a shitty laptop when I was a kid making YouTube, and we were talking like Let's Play YouTube era. So it was like hours of footage that would chopped into 20 minutes at a time or whatever. But my laptop was so awful. I could record like maybe 2 hours and my computer would be so full it would want to short out. So I'd have to like record for an hour, render it out, upload it overnight because my internet was awful. And also I was too stupid to know you could schedule uploads. So I would just public all of them overnight. So I'd have like 8 videos drop at like 3 a.m.
You know what's interesting about that? Like you never used to be able to schedule uploads if you weren't like partnered with YouTube. It was like you also couldn't change your thumbnail to a custom image back then.
I remember that.
It was rough, dude. It was rough. It's like you were in the wild west of just like, I guess I just hit publish now. Mm-hmm. This thumbnail looks crap, but there's nothing I can do.
YouTube has,
I hope people click it.
Yeah, it's certainly, YouTube has refined itself within the past decade or so for sure. Mm-hmm. It's definitely changed, not for a bad way, because like I feel like especially Let's Play stuff sometimes becomes way more like quantity over the quality of stuff.
Yeah.
Which is something I kind of still struggle with, is I feel like sometimes I get too like spammy with my YouTube and I just want to post stuff because I'm like, this is funny, I'll post it. but then I don't commit the time to make it like super refined because YouTube puts so much pressure to upload that I feel like I'm just like I gotta get out there, otherwise my career is dead. I'm a failure, right? And I don't even give a shit about YouTube. Like I feel like I'm somebody who doesn't care about YouTube that much. And I still feel that way sometimes because YouTube is so in your face about being like, this video is awful. Your first video is better. And this one's doing okay, but it's not as good. So you have to post another video.
Don't get me started on the 10 out of 10s. Jesus Christ.
It's so manipulative.
It's really, and they give you like fireworks when you get a 1 out of 10.
Yeah, fuck you.
Like, oh look, you did well, good job, positive reinforcement.
Can't wait to compare this to everything else you upload subsequently and make you feel bad. So it's so much easier to just stream. Go live.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I've been streaming like primarily because I just enjoy it more and it's less stress. Like some people think it's more stressful because it's live.
I don't think so. I think it's so much easier.
Yeah, I actually prefer it, and I like for a long time I've prioritized streaming, and like there's a lot of people that watch my YouTube now, and they're like, "Where's the next upload? What is happening?" And I'm like, bruh, you realize back in the day when I had like endgame like 4-year fucking Minecraft world, that I was posting maybe one video for the hardcore world every 6 to 8 months. At least, maybe.
YouTube is ravenous, dude.
That was it. And I was just like, you know what? I'll post it when it's done. And that's always been my attitude. The only reason why there was so many hardcore videos coming out initially when I started the new worlds after I like got the baby zombie attention, all that shit.
Well, a lot of hype around it.
Because it was brand new. It was like, it was new. Everyone wanted to see what had happened from the very beginning. Like when you first start a new Minecraft world, everything you do is super, super important. And like, until you get to endgame, it's just everyone's on the edge of the seat, especially in hardcore. Mm-hmm. You don't know what the fuck's gonna be around the corner. You could just die to fall damage, just like out of nowhere.
One ravine with the creeper on top could be the end of it.
Yep. But I was gonna say actually, you know, when you were talking about college, it gave me like flashbacks to what I did.
Go on.
Man's took media studies, art, and photography.
How'd that go?
The 3 wankiest subjects that don't get you a job ever. Jesus Christ. I was just like, I'm going to follow my dream and did it. And then you know what happened, Sneeg? Halo fucking 2 happened. Literally, as soon as I went into college, Halo 2 got fucking announced. I wanted Xbox Live so bad. I got it. I set it up and I just no-lifed the fuck out of it.
Oh my God.
I got made fun of by my friends in college because of how much fucking time I spent on Halo. I would skip class to go play Halo 2.
Yeah, that's when I realized I needed to stop playing League because I started skipping class to play League to try to grind out Diamond. And I got to it, and then for some reason I kept playing thinking I could keep going, and I D-ranked out of Diamond. And then I was like, well, fuck, I got to get back. So I started doing it more, and then I couldn't get back. And then I was like, this is fucking terrible. I'm literally like skipping. I didn't do it often. I did it, and then I started realizing I was doing it, and I was like, I need to not do this. So it wasn't long, but you know, I played League for like 6 years at that point. And I was like, when is it going to fucking end? So I was just like, fuck it. So I played sometimes, not much anymore, but it freed up a lot of time for me, which I put into streaming. And then here I am. So yeah, I could definitely relate to.
I flunked the fuck out of college, dude. I got terrible grades. I Jesus Christ. I remember I would get so easily distracted as well. It wasn't even just a case of like I want to go home and play Halo 2 online with my friends and get good. It was a case of, oh, this band has a new album that hasn't been released yet, and now I'm listening to it in my media class, paying no attention to anything the teacher is saying.
I played games in pretty much all of my classes if I was able to, but it helped me pay attention, which doesn't make sense. So like I don't want to make it sound like you should do this because it is a terrible idea, but for some reason I had an easier time remembering things from class if I was like I played a lot of Binding of Isaac in class in college, So, but I could remember specific scenarios from Binding of Isaac that would help me remember things we talked about in class, and it would help me like do better on exams, which doesn't make sense. I don't know exactly what kind of learning that is. I don't know.
Video games
maybe it's just me trying to maybe it's just me trying to justify being a fucking asshole and not paying attention. But like I would be paying attention auditorily, and I'd get called on, and I'd be able to like answer the question. Like I commonly would participate in class while playing a game, just because my brain was like, I can't like sit here and like stare at this teacher. Like I'm going to not pay attention. Like I will zone out. I need something to like keep my brain busy while my ears listen. Was pretty much how I did it. Which it probably isn't the best idea, but I don't know. I graduated. I spent 4 years, and I had like I think a B+ average by the end of it. So
I can't imagine how much little work I would have got. I mean, I barely even paid attention in class to begin with, without the distraction of a video game in class. Jesus Christ!
I don't know how I did it.
Hands, like I would draw tattoos on my hand with like a biro, like a black biro pen. And sometimes it would get so extreme, depending on how bored I was in the class. It would get so extreme that it would work its way up my fingers, and when I ran out of space on my fingers, I then started working my way up my arm. It was bad, dude. I was practically ink poisoning myself with this shit.
That's amazing. I would have people who I was friends with because we studied criminal justice together, like sit by me in class and like watch me play. It was probably not a great thing. I was probably not helping a lot of people, but like it helped me focus. I can't explain it. For some reason, sometimes
it had the like opposite effect with me. I had people looking at my arm and shit and be like, "Yo, that's fucking sick," and I'll be like, "Yeah, I didn't learn shit today."
People like, I don't know. People ask like how I stream for so long, or like how because I always watch YouTube while I'm doing something else. Like I'll play a game while I watch YouTube all the time, or I'll watch a stream in the background while I play a game when I'm bored. But it helps me like laser focus. Like I can't explain it. Something about having that like ability to hear something but then like do something else just helps me like remember the audio I'm putting in to my brain. I can't explain it. Maybe somebody with better like knowledge on how like memory works through auditory cues can say something in the comments. I don't know. I have no idea. I don't even know if that person's going to be watching, but like you're seriously, I can't explain it.
You're basically describing exactly what my chat do. There's like so many people in my chat that watch me in the background.
Yeah.
And then they're just like, "Hey, Dadza, just got a fucking A star. Can I get a pog?" And I'm like, "What do you mean? You are a 16-month sub, and you've been chatting and watching me for so long, and you just aced your fucking tests whilst watching me in the background." That you are Sneak, you are literally describing what they do. Like I don't understand how, dude.
I feel like Twitch was a little too built for someone who behaves exactly like myself. I feel like it's kind of funny how it worked out for me.
It's wild.
I don't know. Like I feel like first of all, like I got lucky being able to get into the things that I've gotten into, and it's, you know, bolstered my career weirdly fast, so I'm super grateful for it. But like it happened really quickly because I started streaming and I was like, I fucking like this shit. I was like, fuck YouTube, like this is awesome. I was like, I can just sit here and like shoot the shit with people. And at the time it was like 5 because like I had posted like you know like my sweaty PvP Minecraft content that I really could care less about now. And so some people recognized me. I had like 1,000 subs or so on YouTube, and some people, I streamed a few times sporadically before I really hard sent it, and some people were still following and like saw it and were like, "Hey man, what's going on?" So I had like maybe 5, and it was great. I was like, this is incredible, this is super fun. And then I guess I don't know, I keep walking into opportunities and making the best of it, I suppose.
Yeah, just roll with it.
Yeah, I that's really what content is. I mean, people think there's some consistency or hardworking business strategy. It's just
Oh, dude,
you don't
understand me for tips all the time, and I'm just like,
nothing
just
to
start,
give,
dude.
There's nothing to give except just do it. Like literally, like I know people like make fun of creators who are like just consistently streaming and it'll come, but like it's not because you're being consistent that like you'll blow up, but like your consistency will let you be seen, and that might give you opportunities to take advantage of a situation to where you will get you'll blow up. I mean,
I try to tell people this as much as possible because there's a lot of streamers that watch me and ask for advice and stuff. And they're like, I just hit affiliate. What do I do? Or like, I'm starting to get more viewers. How do I cope? And I'm just like, or they're asking like, how do I talk to myself for like an hour?
You just start saying like, shit, dude. Like I can't explain
practice.
It. Yeah, just do it.
It's literally just practice. And like you said, in terms of like being prepared, like, or being ready for if you get attention out of nowhere. Like, I can't tell you the amount of times I got rated when I had like 10 viewers, and I would jump up to like 100, 500, 1,000, and it never really stuck. But you can't get discouraged by that at all. That's something that I try to tell as people.
Rates tend to do that too, to be fair.
Yeah, like when people arrive at your stream forcefully by another streamer, there's only going to be so many that hang around because they aren't there for you. They came because their streamer said, let's go watch this person for a bit. But they don't know you and they might not like you. And that's, you can't take that personal.
That's just life. I mean, that's just literally life. You can't have somebody send you 100 something viewers and then you go from like 50 to 400 and then you go to like 100 and you're like, well, fuck, I guess it's me. It's not. I mean, it's literally not.
It's really not. It's just so many different avenues of content.
Yeah, people have their preference, and their preference is like, this guy's awesome, I want more people to see him. And then maybe a fourth of them are like, okay, you know, I fuck with this. But that's more people. I mean, like, all of it counts.
Yeah,
all of it's important.
There's still going to be a few that hang around, but don't get discouraged when you see that huge number drop back down to a small number, right? That's another thing I tell people. Don't look at the viewer count. But also, you should never look at the viewer count whilst you're live, in my opinion.
And people aren't going to send viewers your way if you're not streaming either. I mean, like, imagine had you not started streaming 2 years into your world and you died. I mean, it would have just been like, man, that sucks.
Yeah, I would have just made a video saying like, this is how I lost the world. And I didn't record it. Whoops.
Yeah, I don't know if it would have gotten as much attention.
No, definitely not.
Maybe you wouldn't have gotten as many opportunities. I mean, it's just like streaming is really about consistency and getting yourself out there and just having yourself be known. I mean, unique ideas and fun concepts and a unique personality is important, but like being able to just be live is so powerful in terms of the opportunities you're given. Because so many people joined SMP Live after I did, but like there are so many people that join that server that don't do content or don't have nearly as many not the numbers matter, but like they demotivated so heavily because they barely streamed when they were on it, but when they did stream, you know, they got numbers, but then they, you know, SMP Live fizzled out like everything does. Everything dies. But
yeah, everything's got a time limit.
But they didn't do anything. They didn't do anything else. They didn't push content elsewhere during it. They didn't push content elsewhere afterwards. They were like, well, there goes my thing I do. Guess I'm not doing this anymore. And then it's like, well, but just keep going. Like, people think streaming is like always like this giant fucking like descent off of a roller coaster, and it's like constantly going crazy and numbers are going burr and follower counts are going super fast. And I'm like, I feel like I'm not like salty about it, but I feel like the only situation where that's really apparent for a lot of people is in Minecraft, and like very specifically the Dream SMP. I feel like members in that community very much blow up because they have such a large and excited fan base for people a part of it. So when somebody not a part of it doesn't have the consistent growth and the passionate fan base that group has, they're thinking something they're doing is wrong, despite maybe even streaming Minecraft and doing similar content. But I'm like, there are so many lulls in streaming where you're just kind of coasting and you're having fun, but like you're not really, the follower count's not going crazy. The streams are doing okay, but you're not like getting above your average view count. You're just kind of doing okay. But then like you don't stop streaming because you're not getting super popular at the time.
Yeah, like I try to tell people that too. Like you just need to do it first and foremost because you enjoy it. If you're doing it for numbers, if you're doing it for like attention,
it's a losing fight.
You're not gonna keep it up. You're gonna lose motivation really early on, or like I don't know.
You're gonna really fuck up your self-worth.
Yeah, you could like I've known streamers who have streamed for like 6 or 7 years, and then they just stopped.
Yeah. I learned the other day that like
high anymore. They were just like, no, I'm done, and just stopped. They didn't care. They like lost interest or just moved on. So you have to really love it.
I can't remember who told me this, but like somebody told me I don't remember the exact number, but like I learned from somebody else that Captain Puffy has been streaming for like I think it might have been 10 years, like when Twitch started. Maybe it was like 6, but still like a pretty fucking long time. And I didn't really know of her until Dream SMP because I wasn't a part of whatever community she was in or
the Justin.tv.
Yeah, I kind of just knew you guys, and I'm not really like I watch your guys' stuff because you're my friends and I support you, but I never really like branch out much through Minecraft past that. So like I see people you're involved with, but I was like, I had no idea. But like she's clearly put in the time and has gotten a huge opportunity that she clearly enjoys and took full, she has taken full advantage of it. And
it's like being prepared for the ball that like comes into your court, right? If you're not ready for it, you can't hit it.
If you don't want the ball, it's not going to go well. But you're going to get the ball at some point. Like
at some point, if we keep with like the sports analogy, at some point there's going to be this perfect pass, and if you miss it, you've missed out on potentially a huge opportunity of running to the end zone with it.
Yeah.
You have to be able to catch it first of all, and you have to be able to run with it and keep it and consistently like keep going. And part of being able to do that is having the experience and the knowledge and just overall the kind of like drive.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't have the skill or experience built up to really catch that and run with it, then the chances of you like succeeding or kind of like getting that end goal, that dream, are like shot. Like you're just not gonna make it. You have to be incredibly lucky and also have the skill set to consistently like keep it going, I think.
Yeah, I've said it plenty of times, to friends and to people asking for advice on stream and stuff, but it's like, just because you don't have like 1,000 viewers watching your stream doesn't make your content like less worthy. Like you could be streaming to 5 people, but that could mean the world to those 5 people. And that content is still important as much as you value it. Like if you value your content,
best streamers on Twitch are like probably sitting at like 100 or less viewers right now.
Yeah. And I've said it, this job isn't exactly talentless, but it doesn't start with you needing prior talent. It's built through your ability to continue doing it. And if if you're not able to stream to 4 people, how are you going to stream to the 40,000 you want to average? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like how are you going to, you can't handle that if you can't handle the 3 people who are the initial start. So you need to be able to hone your skills. And sometimes that includes those periods of just like, nothing's really going on that's like exciting and spectacular, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I remember when I had like the 10 viewer fucking Minecraft streams, but I streamed my hardcore world, and I would like I went down like a bit of a different game path for a while. I was like, ooh, I really like Rocket League, I'm gonna stream more Rocket League. I averaged 2 viewers.
Oh yeah.
When I switched to Rocket League, and at the time I was just like, man, like I was like, fuck, people really don't want to see me play Rocket League. But at this, but then again, I was like, well, I'm still having fun, and like I know I'm like making funny content because like I'm laughing my fucking ass off, and my friends are laughing. Like we're having a good time.
Yeah.
Like people that do tune in are having a good time. It's just that I was known more for playing Minecraft, even at 10 viewers. So
Which shouldn't be shocking with the viewer drop to some people, but it's hard
yeah,
to like not take that to heart when
yeah,
your view count is like a direct, I guess, labeling of your talent to some people.
yeah. It's like learning that. Like I learned very early on that you don't like you can't just like say, okay, I will get this many viewers on average if I play any game, especially early on too. You have to be aware that people will just tune in for the game that they saw you playing. Like people
Yeah.
followed you for the game you were playing at that exact
Oh
moment in
man.
time. And the viewers that you really want to please and you really want to keep around and like
The ones that watch you no matter
keep,
what.
yeah, exactly. The people that you really want to like keep in your chat and like really kind of nourish are the people who will just show up for you. And
I can't
it's
even.
difficult to find those people too. It's difficult, but like they're there and they will show up. And you have to recognize that they are the most important people, not the people that just
Absolutely.
come in randomly when you're doing the game they like. Like they're important too, but the real ones are the ones that will watch you no matter what.
The amount of times I've gone live and like somebody else who shares a proportion of my viewers with me goes live the exact same time, it I can't even count. And it's like, well, it's a low view count today, but it is what it is because, you know, people that want to watch what I'm doing predominantly are already there. Like they want to be there. So they're there.
Yeah.
So I should entertain them. And then the people who kind of watch me or, you know, I'm the substitute, whatever, they'll show up eventually, maybe after that person's done. And that's okay too. I mean, it's not, you know,
and that's not even like a slight to people that channel hop. Like that's just how Twitch works.
Yeah.
Like if you are watching like let's think about it this way. Like I talked about this with Fundy a bit too. Twitch is kind of just like this big TV broadcast channel. And essentially every now and again you'll get like a notification that's like, oh, this person's live. You just go watch them because you want to watch it live, like a television program. It's like, oh, this time, like in this day,
kind
my
of is
favorite show
modern
is
live
on.
TV for sure.
Yeah, it's like my favorite show is on right now. I'm gonna go watch it. I'll be back though. Like
yeah, exactly. I'll come watch this later.
yeah, and it's not anything you should
My
never
favorite
take
show
it
is on.
personal.
Yeah.
It's learning not to take that personal at all because that's just how Twitch works.
Or to devalue yourself as a creator or the stream you're currently putting on because your view count dips a bit. I think like the more you do it, the more you realize that that's just a natural occurrence. And I don't know. It's just kind of how it works. I mean, I feel like it's always happened.
It's and sometimes how the site works.
Yeah, and sometimes you can be smarter about it and orient your stream time away from people who stream and share viewers with you, or stream a little before you think they're going to end because you know that like one, they know you and might raid you, or two, when they end, people are going to hop to you. I mean, there's just ways to kind of people do it. I mean, people don't talk about it, but people 100% do that shit.
Definitely. There's literally
like a fucking book. Like you cannot find enough examples of people being like, well, my friend's about to end, so I'm going to start streaming.
There's literally a website that tells you when to stream. It like you type in what games you play, and it'll show you, it'll bring you back when the most people playing that game are and when
they're the most popular.
End.
Yeah, it'll tell you like when the people who have the most viewers from the game go live and when they usually end, and then that the time they're not live is the sweet spot for you.
Yep. The little like time slot that you just
if you're streaming a saturated game like Minecraft or like any popular BR like Apex and all that stuff, but
which a lot of the time you need to do to even get recognized, because like so you could be playing like a game that has no viewers and nobody's really going to tune in because nobody's looking for that game.
You say that
you already have like an actual fan base watching you from the get-go. It's pretty difficult to grab people from other areas of Twitch.
It's kind of dependent. It's very dependent. I think it depends on the game as well, because something that happened to me prior to SMP Live was I was kind of streaming whatever, and then I streamed Bully, which is an old Rockstar game if people don't know it.
That's got a good fan base behind
it.
Oh
my god, the game
Bully.
Exactly. So I streamed it because I like Bully, and one of the things that my YouTube, I had people watch the Bully series on my YouTube years prior more than some other stuff, and I was like, I don't remember much, maybe I'll stream it. And I went from like 5 viewers to like 25, and to from like a month into streaming, and I was like, what is happening? And I had like consistently more people pop into the stream. It wasn't like 20 people of the exact same people. It was like 20, 25 viewer average of multiple people popping in being like, I love this fucking game. Thank you for playing it. I love reminiscing. I cannot recommend Bully enough, by the way. It's like one of the best Rockstar games out there. It's on Steam. It's super cheap. I guarantee it. It's an absolute slap of a game.
Yeah, similar thing happened to me when I played through the old Grand Theft Auto games.
Oh my god!
Like back then when I still only had like 10 viewers, I got a bunch of extra like new people watching my stream because they're like, oh fuck yeah, I remember Grand Theft Auto 3. Holy shit, this is awesome. Oh wow, this mission, wow. And then like I went through the other Grand Theft Autos. I went on to Vice City, you know, I did San Andreas. Like so many people love the nostalgia.
I have a great history with Vice City. So for people that are unaware, and I don't even know if you know this, but my high school was a middle school as well. So it was like, you know, I don't know if you know how American system works, but I went there from like 6th grade to 12th grade. So I spent like literally 6-7 years there. Right. But we had a laptop program. So I had like a really shitty Lenovo laptop, which had an integrated graphics card, by the way. I can't express enough how much I was balling on a budget. But I could rant about the fucking computer program there so much. They gave us 8 gigs of RAM and an integrated graphics card in the laptop. And I'm like, I run anything and my computer's like, cool, 8 gigs of RAM, explosion. So, but we used to pass around a pirated version of Vice City. I'm not saying to do this now, but this was when I was, you know, literally 14 with no money. And I certainly wasn't going to ask my parents to buy me a Grand Theft Auto game at the time. But somebody pirated it so bad that the audio just didn't work.
Ooh.
But we were playing in school anyway, so like nobody cared. So everybody had this like really sketchy version of Vice City with no audio and passed it around the school. That makes me very nostalgic. Dude, I still remember his like blue Hawaiian shirt or whatever.
A huge part of that game's appeal is the music choice.
I know.
The radios and stuff.
That's the best part, is like part of Grand Theft Auto is jamming out to all the cool radios and
loading up V-Rock and just ambiance. Fucking blasting it.
Yep. Nope, not me. I was playing in silence while I was trying not to get caught in class.
That's rough. Oh my
God. I wonder why I did the same in college. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, like nostalgic games are big. Nostalgic games are really big for view count as well.
Yeah.
Maybe it depends on the following on Twitch itself. But
Rockstar is always a good bet. Yeah. Any Rockstar game is always a good bet. It's always going to grab like a bunch of people because they were super popular back in the day. And like, oh my God, this is so fun to replay.
Oh, I love Bully so much. I need to replay it. It's been 3 years, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, you should do it.
God damn, it's been so long.
See how poorly aged a lot of the jokes are.
Oh God. Well, you go around trying to kiss many a girl, so yeah. I remember there was a clip from when I streamed it, which doesn't exist anymore thanks to DMCA stuff. But there was like, oh my God, dude, I remember it so vividly. It was one of the house missions where you like go to somebody's house and like egg it because they're a dick or something. Yeah. And like it was like against like the rich boy group or whatever, and one of them comes out and I was like beating him up, and he was like, I don't even remember, the guy like in a very sexual manner was like, oh, harder daddy, and I like paused. because I never heard it, and I was like, "What the fuck was that?" And it was a command in a clip on my stream for so long. It was literally like exclamation daddy in my chat, but it doesn't exist anymore, which makes me really sad. There might be I might have it saved, or it might be in a highlight reel somewhere, but oh my god, I just remember that. That's like one of the funniest things from that playthrough, because I'd played Bully 2 or 3 times and I'd never heard that audio line, and it threw me off so hard, because that is, because like Rich Boy was always like, "Oh, give me money, daddy," but that means something way different now. So
like, some games age like fucking milk, and it's
my
hilarious.
god, man, some of them age like wine though too. Some stuff just doesn't get old. The other things you're like, ooh,
like, ooh, okay. That's a yikes, bro.
yeah it's kind of a yikes. Everything's like that too. I remember watching the first Ace Ventura movie, and like the entire plot is making fun of the fact that the villain is like secretly trans, which is like so awful. Like, it's such an
I can't even remember.
That's literally the plot.
Remember.
The plot twist is that like the female is actually the guy they're looking for, and then like all of them freak out and puke because she's like, I don't even know if they even come across whether it's just he's a crossdresser or actually trans, but like all of them like throw up or whatever. It's very shitty. Like, it's a super awful way to spin a movie nowadays. And I remember Hannah and I being like, we should watch this, because I remember it being funny. And then we got to that part and we were like, it's not funny. It just sucks. This
one
sucks.
Of those, just
yeah.
Like, ooh,
you're like,
well, not like this. Come on.
That ruined all of it for me. It's all ruined now, justifiably.
But talking about old movies that haven't like aged too well in certain aspects, fucking hell. Like, me and Kristen watched some old Disney movies not too long ago.
Oh boy, those are good ones.
Oh boy, dude.
Good examples.
Boy. Fucking Aristocrats. Oh my god.
Go on.
The scene with the like the Siamese cats, I think.
Yep.
And they sing that song.
Yep.
Jesus Christ.
Yep. Pretty
it's like
pretty bad.
The whole it's crazy looking back at like how like racially sort of charged and like
pretty awful,
fucking like awful the like characters and jokes are. Like, some characters are literally one dimension and are just like so fucking offensive.
This is my entire thing.
It's just, you had no idea. You had no idea.
Sucks.
And then it's so bad in some cases that one of the Disney, well, I say this, most of the old Disney animation movies, if you go watch them now on Disney Plus, hashtag not sponsored, they have a fucking warning at the start to be like, it's basically, oh, that's my chair, yeah. Oh, let me sit up. I'm like laying back. I'm like 45 degrees backwards.
I've been chilling this whole time.
The movies, like the old Disney movies, they literally have a warning at the start saying, yo, this shit kind of fucking aged like milk, but we're not changing it because of artist preservation or some shit. They're just like, this is what they had in mind at the time, and we want to preserve this as sort of a lesson. I'm like,
and also,
holy fuck,
their image was shitty, and we know that.
I didn't even notice in Dumbo, every person that's working on the like tents was black.
What?
And like,
seriously,
they were like,
I haven't seen that movie in a long time. Wow.
I was like, where are the white people working on these tents and hammering these nails into the ground? Oh God.
that's so fucked.
And don't even get me started on
there was something I watched.
Crows as well.
Maybe it was Ace Ventura that had that warning. No, because that was on I don't remember what I watched it on. Maybe it was Amazon. I don't know. There was something I watched on Disney where I saw that warning label, and I can't remember what it was. It's
like a common thing they have now. It's just when they don't want to change the movie because of like it being so old and so wrong, they're just like, just leave it. It's fine. Look at this shit we did. It's terrible. We've learned. Please.
Such a good example.
Look at how wrong we were. But like they have to tell you. They have to tell you because like, man, it's wild. Like as a kid, you have no idea. I remember I used to have an incredibly racist uncle, and he would
Yep.
tell me racist jokes all the time as a kid, and I had no fucking clue what
Yep.
he was talking about.
Very
And
relatable.
then one day, it just fucking clicked, and I was like, "Whoa, dude!
Yeah. Nope.
Whoa, he is
Nope. Nope.
his jokes were not pog.
Not
My
at all.
God."
Yeah.
Like he would just make it out that it was like a fun sort of he sort of joke.
Yeah, and then he
But
gets
like,
weirdly specific that it's this exact type of person every time, and
yep,
you're like, why?
yep,
Okay,
yep. He
getting a
even
little
went as
weird.
far to change like nursery rhymes and shit. Man, he
Oh
was.
God.
I'm so glad I don't fucking like talk to him anymore.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty certain the entire family has actually just sort of pushed him to one side.
Yeah. I feel like I'm
Like,
gonna get a little bit of flack from my family. Not that I'm gonna care, because my wedding's around the corner, and I'm fairly certain a few of my aunts are skeptical about vaccinating themselves, and I'm like, okay, but it's gonna be a requirement at my wedding, most likely, and you're gonna have to show it. And if you don't have it, you're not gonna come, because
they'd
that
rather
you're gonna
spend like $200 on a fake ID.
right. I'm like, you're gonna be the person that dies because I'm not requiring it. So I'm gonna require it, and you're just not gonna show up, and you're gonna be alive. And you can be mad at me, but you're not gonna make my like one of the best days of my life a super spreader. You know what I mean?
Stupid people are gonna be stupid.
I know. And I'm like, you can be pissed off all you want, but like, you're just not gonna be a part of it then, if that's gonna be how it is. And I'm sorry if that makes you mad, but maybe I don't know.
Yeah,
we don't even have to.
You're literally looking out for their best interest.
Right.
It's like trying to explain to a child why you shouldn't stick a fork in a fucking electrical outlet. It's literally what we're doing right now with like people that are anti-vax. It's like,
oh my God, dude.
if you do that, you're gonna get electrocuted. No, I'll be fine.
Yeah,
No,
that's what they want. That's what they want you to think.
And then
and it has a really. Hannah had somebody come to the hospital once because of COVID, and then like kept trying to ask them if he was going to get labeled as having pneumonia instead, and they were like, no, you have it. And he was like, but it's not real. And he was like, no, you have it.
I blame Facebook and social media.
People are so, I don't know, bro. Like how
easy to spread misinformation and
how
just treat it as fact.
And how in your face does the information need to be for you to be like, fine? Like, especially with the new stuff coming around with the Delta variant, like everybody who's unvaccinated is the ones that are suffering the most. The people who are getting it, who are vaccinated, are like slim, like very minimally in comparison to the people who aren't. And they're like, well, this kind of sucks. And they get over it. Like rarely has anybody had anything close to a terrible time with the new variant while they're vaccinated. And that's like from hospitals. Like that's from the people who are dealing with the people that are afflicted by this sort of thing. It's not from like Facebook. It's not from somebody who's talking out their ass like me. It's like from actual hospitals are reporting statewide in America that like 90+% of people dealing with it are not vaccinated. And I'm like, how can you just ignore? I don't know. I'm sure they have all sorts of shit. That's such a can of worms to talk about. I'm like, just get vaccinated, guys. Like seriously, if you're still considering it, I mean, like, I don't know how to convince you. It's just like people are literally dying because they're not getting it because we've done such a terrible job of handling it the first time around that a new version of the virus has come out, because this is what viruses do. They mutate to stay alive.
Yeah.
So for quick viral course, viruses stick to a person, they make more of themselves, and they try to go elsewhere because eventually they get killed off, right? White blood cells are like, wait a fucking second, you're not supposed to be here. Eventually. Viruses are good at hiding, and once they're caught, you know, the damage might already be done. They might have spread it somewhere else. But if it keeps mutating, it keeps finding a better way to exist. And this is how we've gotten to where we are, because too many viruses have found better ways to exist to where now this version has become a superior version that is harder to shake and is worse for people who don't have the proper defenses against it, you know? And it just doesn't make sense to me.
This has been a public service announcement.
Yeah, whatever.
From Sneak Industries. Get fucking vaccinated.
Get fucking vaccinated. Whatever, dude.
Get your vaccine if you can, if you are able. Jesus Christ.
Shut up, content creator. Go back to gaming.
You can't chime in on this. Bruh, it's like chiming in on like saying racism bad.
Yeah, cool.
Or don't treat people like things. You know,
I can't talk about it. Yeah, try and stop me. Here I go.
It should be common fucking sense, man. Fuck.
I'm still talking about it. What are you gonna do, bud?
Sun hot. Sun hot. Too much sun bad.
Yeah. Here's an obvious statement. Please be upset. So, I don't know. Whatever. That was a fun little aside, dude. To completely deviate from that conversation, if you want to get a little personal, your wife has returned to England.
Oh, I'm so happy, dude.
Which is amazing. I'm super happy for you guys.
It's the best.
Because you guys have both expressed wanting to come to my wedding. I thought about like, what if you guys have to see each other for the first time in a long time at my wedding, which I would have loved to do for you guys, but I'm glad that's not the case. But like, I am somebody who's had like long distance sporadically with Hannah in a previous like relationship or two. It wasn't like a super consistent thing. It was like they traveled for a bit and came back. Hannah's a travel nurse, so sometimes she's taking contracts outside of St. Louis and weeks at a time, goes there, finishes work, comes back for a week, right? And in other instances, I've moved with her, and it was as COVID hit, and it was a terrible experience because we were in a city that we didn't know, but whatever. So, excuse me. What was it like, especially like before you guys even got married, like, you know, long distance wise in general, because you guys are obviously from different parts of the world. I mean, what was it like? Because I'm sure there's plenty of people listening who have their own long distance relationships. And what was the main reason you two continued the relationship despite the distance? And how does it make you feel now that you guys are at such a point to where like all of it, does it feel worth it is what I'm asking, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. It's
a loaded question. I'm gonna assume it was worth it.
But like, what? So good, dude. It's like the thing that kept us going, I think, was huge in part to us starting out as long distance. I feel like it is a lot harder for people that have that connection at the beginning and are just around each other for like physically for
constantly
a long time.
Too. I've had so many relationships like fizzle because like we don't leave each other alone. And that's why Hannah and I have gotten along as well as we have, is because like we've been able to respect each other's space despite maybe one or the other not wanting to leave the other alone sometimes. But sorry, quick aside.
Yeah, that's a big part of it too. I feel like it's like, because we started out long distance and we had that like beginning, it was easier for us to kind of like cope with not being around each other once we finally met. Like we had it down, dude. We were like, all right, let's play video games at this time. Like I would always know what time it was when like in America at what time it was in here in the UK.
Yeah.
She would always know what time it was as well. She would know what time I would get out of work back when I was still working in retail. I would know when she would wake up. I would know when she would know when I was going to bed. Like it was just all, we were just like totally in sync.
That's called giving a shit, folks. That's that extra ounce of effort that makes or breaks a relationship for sure.
And yeah, we had our like down times of just being like, man, this sucks. Like I wish I was back in America with you. Or like she wished she was back in the UK with me. But you just get through it because we just fucking loved each other so much. Like I just love talking to her and just like seeing her laugh and smile, and like I don't know, it really just makes me like all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah, I can definitely relate, because you know I live with my fiance, and not that she's not from a different country, but you know we met when we both lived in the downtown area of St. Louis, because she lived there because she worked by there, because she took a job on a whim from, she went to a school in Alabama and took a job in St. Louis because it was just a nursing job to do. It was paid well, and she was like, fuck it, I'm now a nurse, I need a job. But she came here knowing nobody, and I was in downtown because of my college. And so, we crossed paths, and she'd always wanted to travel nurse, and I was, gaining popularity due to streaming, and she was very ambivalent about it. Like, she didn't care, which I was like so into, because I had like previous relationships spring on me like a year in that they hated video games, and I was like, okay, so I'm an avid and open gaming dork, and you spent like a year and a half not mentioning it. I don't feel sorry for you. Moving on. So
it's one of those cases of like, they were probably thinking, oh, he'll it's a phase.
No,
he'll grow out of it.
You dumbass.
I can change him.
So dumb. But yeah, I mean, she didn't care that I was into it, and I was like, yes. So on top of so many other things, like she's lovely. But she wanted to travel nurse, which is, for people that don't know what travel nursing is you work through a recruiting company. Hospitals can only have a specific amount of patients per nurse, so they will pay nurses extra money to come to their hospital from out of town to add more patients to the whatever floor needs more nurses on staff, right? Because maybe they don't have enough people applying in the area, or they can't hire somebody permanently, so they want someone temporarily at a time, whatever, right? So typically, like, you go for 3 months at a time somewhere, you come back, do something else, go somewhere else for 3 months, right? She wanted to do this as we started dating. She's wanted to do it since she was a kid, and I was like, well, I've wanted to do this since I was a kid, and I'm doing it, so I'm not going to get in the way. So, she did a contract elsewhere after we'd been dating for quite some time, and it sucked. I mean, like, it sucked in the way that, like, you miss that person so much, and it pains you that they're gone, but you also are like, you are living your best life at the same time, and we're still finding ways to spend time with each other. I'm like, as much as it was awful, like, it's so worth it now that we've gotten to the point where we are. It's like, for people that somehow don't know, we're engaged, and we're getting married next year. Yeah, very excited. It's been very hard not to wear my wedding ring. I really like it, and it's just sitting on my nightstand. I'm like, meh. I want to wear it.
Not wearing it just like gets in the way when you do gaming.
No, it just feels kind of weird to wear it before everything's said and done.
That's right. It's a wedding ring, not an engagement.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes.
I'm dumb.
It's all right, but yeah, I didn't have as much. We've been long distance a few times since we've been dating, but nothing nearly as much as you two clearly have. But I feel like if it's worth it. I feel like if it's worth it based off of the way you guys behave away from each other, because you realize how much you enjoy your company.
Yeah.
To the point where you find ways to spend that company with each other, even if you're not near each other. It's hard to put into words. It's just, I don't know. It's kind of just the way things can feel. It really, I don't know. I can't find the words for it. It's hard to really quantify exactly how much you care about somebody until you're like actively caring about somebody.
Yeah. It's like you wake up and the first thing you think of is, I wonder what this person's up to.
You wonder
right
where
now.
they are, or you do something for them. Like Hannah's asleep because she worked last night, but we had groceries delivered, and birdseed was part of it because Hannah's super into bird watching or sitting on our deck, and she watches birds come up, but she has birdseed and stuff for them. So even though she's asleep and I'm not as into it, I filled up the birdseed stuff and all that for her, because I know she cares about, because birds are like weird consistently. They have a weird amount of wanting to come to the same place if they realize food's there. And I'm like, I know if I don't do this, she might forget because she's got to go to work, and the birds might forget, and then she'll be less excited because less birds will come. So I'm going to do this because I love her. She's busy sleeping because she worked really hard last night. I don't know. It's hard to do it, to explain. It's just, you just do things for each other, and you're like, I have nothing to gain except I care about this person. So I'm doing it because I care, not because I get something out of it. I'm just expressing how much I care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about the birdseed that's at my old house. Jesus Christ, they got took over by a gang of pigeons. it was like fucking.
We don't deal with pigeons nearly
Was
as
it
much.
Bonnie and Clyde that were like the famous duo
Yeah, the
that
crime
robbed banks?
duo. Yeah.
Yeah, we had like a Bonnie and Clyde pigeons that were like huge and just bullied every other bird
Oh my
away
god.
from the bird seed. They like practically took over it. And they would like they had this thing where they would set up a perimeter and everything, dude. It was wild. I would just watch them. Like I would wake up in the morning, get some cereal, and just be like, "Oh, Bonnie and Clyde are here,"
And you
and
would
I'd
just
just watch
enjoy
them
it.
set up. Yeah, I'll just watch them set up this perimeter and then start bullying other birds because, like, apparently our garden was the only garden that had the good shit, and they just
Birds
hoarded it.
remember, dude. They are smart. They're weirdly scheduled. Like they will be like, "There's food in this area. I'm coming back at a similar time the next day or in a week." And if the food's not here, I'm gonna be pissed.
I feel like they must have went on multiple different runs. Like they started getting large, like they were getting hefty.
Maybe they
And I was
have like a
starting to
route.
think, like,
Yeah.
I was starting to think, are they hustling down?
Gotta pay me if you
Like,
want to get to these seats, Bucko.
yeah, are they hustling like
Protection.
other like back garden like birdseed locations, and
Oh
we're just
man.
on the list.
Just another blip on their list of hits.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
I watched one literally bully a robin, like the cutest little bird ever, off of the fucking bird seed. It was just like this tiny little thing up against like this little bird up against a Goliath pigeon, just fucking beating it down with its
Amazing.
wings. I was like, oh my god. They got too big for the birdseed holder. It started like crack like it was on this pole, and the pole started like doing a leaning Tower of Pisa shit, and eventually just like fell over because they were so big.
Wow, that is quite the tale. I didn't think we'd get into Bonnie and Clyde pigeons today, but here we are. That's awesome.
Nature's pog, dude. It's fun. Yeah.
Let's backtrack towards content a little bit. This will probably be like the last thing we can discuss, and it could be as much or as little as you want. But like we talked about like inspirations and starting out, but like is there like prime examples of people you watched or things that were said? Because like I mentioned my friend kind of calling me out on my lazy bullshit, right? Like was there like that moment for you where you were like, god damn, like I want to do this shit. I'm feeling it, you know?
I mean, I used to watch like back in the day. I used to watch like a bunch of different people, and I think I can pinpoint the moment I wanted to play Minecraft, and that was from watching that one Yogscast video that everybody's seen with Simon and Lewis trying out the game.
Yeah.
And after seeing that, I was like, I have to play this game.
Or their Tekkit series or Shadow of Israfel. So many people.
I didn't even get into them that much to the point where I watched any of those other series.
I was very into them.
I dropped off that, but they were the catalyst. They were like the flame that lit my passion for Minecraft. And after that, I would just just randomly watch other videos like Hunger Games videos. I remember I used to watch Captain Sparkles. Jordan, like it was a big influence for me. Yeah, it's wild. Like Jordan was a big influence for me back in the day, on how to make YouTube videos look better, which is a difficult thing to consider. But like I noticed something different about his videos, and YouTube had like a weird sort of preference to certain resolutions. I remember I spent like a day analyzing Captain's fucking videos and being like, what does he do? Yeah, I literally reverse engineered and found out exactly how he was recording at the resolution he was recording at.
That's way too smart, dude. What the fuck?
And like, yeah, so like I basically like looked at what UI setting he had his UI set to, then took how much distance there was on the tiny little black bars at the top of his screen, because it wasn't a direct, like it wasn't a perfect resolution. And I was trying to understand why, and it's because he recorded it windowed mode. But also rendered it at like a lower resolution. So like he took a high resolution image, which was in windowed mode, already at a weird
And
resolution,
downscaled it.
then downscaled it so that the detail was smoothed out. And
What?
like I don't know like many people realize this, but like back then YouTube's quality settings were scuffed as fuck, and like you could really like hack your way to
Yeah.
getting higher quality by using specific settings and specific bit rates.
I don't know how
So
many
like,
people know it now, because like even Twitch is like you can't stream pretty much anything above 6,000 bit rate, like 720 or 1080p quality. Like you can't stream higher than they'll allow it. And
I stream at 8K.
Yeah, but like you can't watch it in 8K, you know?
You can. There's a bunch of streamers that do you not know this?
What the fuck? Maybe I'm just a dork and haven't been paying attention, because I remember that usually, or having been the case. Maybe it's newer and I'm just an idiot.
There was a point.
Maybe I just didn't even try.
5 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, where CS:GO tournaments were streaming at 16,000 bitrate.
Wow.
1080p, because they had a deal with Twitch, and Twitch gave them the extra bandwidth, and they did it. And I remember just being like in shock at how like sharp it looked. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this? But now with like the improvements in like hardware and stuff,
maybe I'll increase my bitrate tonight. Well, I feel stupid.
I'll give you some tips after stream. I'll give you a couple.
Sure.
But like depending on like if you're a partner or not, you can have you have the ability to stream at higher bitrate than what they advertise. So I stream it like 8K, but like that it's all dependent on your settings as well, to do with like X264. I remember I became like such a fucking nerd at this shit. It was partly due to like I said, Jordan.
I guess I'm just a huge dork.
And I like figured out like all these different things to do with X264 and like presets and bit rates and resolutions. And like, holy shit, dude. I know too much, and I've probably forgotten a lot of it, but that residual knowledge I have, I've just put into my stream.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much it. Like I just have like all of that knowledge, probably due to the fact that like I watched some videos back in the day, and was just like, how do I get that quality? And then worked my way up to it and just kind of learned it all. Like reverse engineered people's vids, figured out how they did it, and like transferred that to my videos.
Very cool. Sorry, I think someone just delivered dog food and knocked on the door, so that was pretty fucked up. So obviously my dog has to freak out. I'll probably just cut out Boomer being mad. Yeah, because I remember like YouTube is like thumbnails need to be a specific size, and they'll downscale it to that anyway, so like you can't even really bother to, at least they used to. I don't know how much they do it now, but they used to like guarantee it was in 1280 by 720. It's probably better now, but used to not go higher.
It's definitely higher. It's definitely higher now. I think it might be 1080. But yeah,
probably
they prefer JPEGs. They don't like PNGs.
Yeah, very specific.
Yeah, very specific. Very weird.
Yeah. Okay. Well, last thing before I go, and I asked Harvey this as well when I had him on, because he's in a similar situation where you have over 1 million subs on YouTube, right? You have your gold play button, you have your silver play button, correct?
Yes, they are to the left of me on my floor.
On your floor?
Yeah, they're like propped up against the wall because I'm too lazy to put them on the wall.
You just moved in too, to be fair. Yeah, I guess that's true.
I'm scared to drill in the wall, dude. I don't know what to do. Just standing up against the wall.
Which one of those meant more?
Oh, the 100K, 100%. Like that was the moment, and I was like, "Holy fuck,
it's real!" Exactly.
I went from 1,000 subs to 100K, and I was like, "Man!"
And I have my 100K. I don't have 1 million, obviously, but I can already feel that if I get to 1 million someday, like I'll be excited, but like it doesn't mean as much as the 100K meant when I got it.
I think it's because the 100K is the first one you get.
It's such a validating feeling.
Yeah. It's the first one you get, and it's the first kind of like recognition from YouTube that you receive, and it's like, man, that's cool. That's really cool. Like, and I didn't think I was gonna hit 1 mil. Like, I remember my subscriber count started to like peter out, and slow right the fuck down after the big boom.
Yeah, and then you loomed over the Dream SMP. Everybody freaked out, which I freaked out. I remember watching you join the server.
Oh yeah.
I watched you join the server and I was like, yes, sir. Like, let's go. It was so exciting.
That was fun. Like that was really fun starting that stream up that day, because I started it up knowing that I am going to disconnect from my hardcore world and
say nothing
to the Dream SMP
during
a penultimate huge climax.
Yeah. That's kind of how I felt when you guys added me to Origins and we were like, let's all stream and welcome these three at the same time. And I was like, oh boy, like in an exciting, like nervous way. I was like, all these people are gonna see me at a very exciting moment. And then Tubbo ruined it.
Just kept killing you.
Well, he said it out loud way before I joined, so like all these people were joining in advance. But I mean, the hype was still really there. But
I still remember. Oh
very similar feeling.
One of the funniest moments was like, when you joined and you were like the little, like, was it inchling or something?
Inchling, yeah.
One of the funniest moments from when you joined that I saw that like fucking floored me was like, Tubbo just kept killing you and kept chasing you, and you just like running around. And then someone in my chat, just like after the 6th time of Tubbo killing you, someone in my chat just goes, Tubbo, stop killing him, with like 3 question marks. I just fucking burst out laughing.
I think my favorite time on that server was definitely when Charlie and I found out he could keep shrinking. And I literally peaked at like 14,000 viewers on my stream, which I've never done since. Not even come close, which was absolutely wild. And it was like naturally too. It wasn't like somebody rated me. Like it was just the hype of the server, and we were doing that, and word just kind of threw around as we were doing it, and it's just like my view count skyrocketed at the time. And then definitely when I like literally lung myself at Fundy and killed him. Like
oh my god,
I love that clip so much.
I had the best angle. Jesus Christ,
dude! Like, have you seen Fundy's? But he did not see me. Like I literally, the second I appeared, he died. Like it actually looks like I came out of nowhere on his screen. It was amazing to watch.
I just remember that frame of you just appearing.
Yeah, I just remember doing it. I remember doing it, and I was like, this is going viral. Like I could feel it. I just like, not in an egotistical way, but I could just feel that like what I did was so funny that like people were going to talk about it, and people still talk about it. Like I still have people mention it. It was a very funny thing. I don't know. I love that clip so much.
It was so unexpected for me as well, because he just died like instantly, and your trident like spin was perfectly angled on him. So like as soon as you started falling and hitting the ground, you instantly cleared him. I was like, oh my god.
That's like any time. That's like the second I put an ounce of effort into Minecraft is what happens, I guess. I just don't care to. I don't know. The game is fun. I've loved playing the game. It's just doesn't do it for me as much anymore. But sometimes I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna style on somebody real quick.
Let me just dust off the cobwebs.
Yeah, really. The PvP button's looking real nice right now. All right. Well, I mean, it's been, almost 2 hours, but I feel like...
Has it really?
Yeah.
Oh my god, it has.
Well, welcome to the podcast, dude.
Well, that flew by.
You have wasted your time effectively.
Hog. Time wasters living up to the name.
Yeah, seriously. I think we went all over the place, but that's kind of the point. It's about everything and nothing at once. So I appreciate your time, and you have the floor to link and shout out whatever avenue of your content you would like real quick.
Check out Sneegsnag at twitch.tv/Sneegsnag.
That's my job.
Prime.
That's my job. Sneeg. I do that. I do that part.
I'm good, man. You're fine.
All right, go. He's Philza on everything. I'm Sneegsnag on everything. I stream all the time, a little too much, and so does Phil.
Prime to Sneeg.
Sure, I'll take it. I have to fund a wedding, so I'll take everything. I'll take everything.
True,
I can get.
Man's getting married. You know how fucking expensive weddings
I do.
Please.
Please help.
Please Prime.
All right, dudes. This has been an episode, and we'll see you in the next one.
Bye.